again, my dear friends. It is I, Jack Wallen. I am here to help you be a better artist, or entertain you, or piss you off. I don't know. It depends on your take on life and being an artist. I've been writing for about 20 years. That's right, actually over 20 years. I think I wrote my first story when I was in graduate school, which was a long time ago. Let's just put it at that. And I want to talk to you today about something that I have actually spoken of now and then throughout this entire series, but I want to actually make it official. I want to lay it all out here. And what I want to talk about is my process. Now, this is my process. It works for me, and I've spent 20 years refining it. And I'm sure that I'll spend the next 20 years tweaking it even more or completely changing it. Who knows? But this is what works for me right now. And if you need any more proof that it works for me, I can write a full-length novel in 2 months. That's right, 2 months. Now, think about it this way. A full-length novel, really the minimum word count for a full-length novel is about 60,000 words. If you write 1,000 words a day, in 60 days, you have a full-length novel. So 2 months. Now, how does it work? How do you break it down into its constituent parts that allows you from start to finish to begin a novel and publish a novel? Well, grab your pens and papers because here it is. I'm going to lay it out for you right now. This is my secret sauce for writing a book. Okay. It starts off at the very beginning. Let's begin at the begin, as it were. What I do after I've come up with my idea for the novel is I start writing. And on day one, I write at least 1,000 words. I do have a minimum every day that I have to write, and that's 1,000 words. And I write it whether I feel like it or not. Whether I'm in the groove or not, I push through and I write 1,000 words. There we go. First day, I've written 1,000 words. Okay? Happy. Yay! Snoopy dance. Next day, what do? Do I just start off writing another 1,000 words? Oh, no. What I do is I go back and I read what I wrote the previous night. And while I'm rereading it, I'm fixing it. I'm changing it. I'm altering it. I'm improving it. Okay? And after I have reread and fixed what I wrote the previous night, I start up and I write another 1,000 words. Now, here is an important key for me. I've said this before. One of the things that I do is I don't set a goal of getting from point A to point B each night. So when I'm reaching that 1,000-word mark, if I feel like continuing, I'll continue on. But one thing I do, one trick that helps me out the next night is I stop. I will stop on a cliffhanger. I will stop mid-shebang, such that the next night when I pick that up again, I am right there in the fray. Now, of course, the next night, what I do is I reread what I wrote the previous night so that I not only get a chance to fix it, but I am up to speed. I don't have to ramp myself back up to writing the next day's work. It just happens. So I feel like after I have reread it and fixed it and tweaked it and reworked it, that next night I am right there. So I can just immediately start writing as if I did not stop writing the previous night. So I keep doing that. Keep doing that and doing that and doing that until I have told the story. Now, I don't have a top. I don't say, well, I'm at 60,000 words, story's done. No. The story will tell me when I'm done, but the 60,000 words is a minimal goal to shoot for. Okay, so you have gone through the process night after night after night after night for at least 2 months, and you've written your manuscript. Awesome. Yay, congratulations, that rocks. Have a beer, or soda pop, root beer, whatever. Celebrate. Now, here's how it works. If you think about it, the way I write, when I finished the first draft of the manuscript, it's really a third draft because I've gone through it that many times. So the story should be solid. But The next thing I do, as soon as I finish reading it, or as soon as I finish writing it, I go back and I read it one more time. This time around, I'm just crossing the I's and dotting the T's. Something like that. You get the idea. Now, here is where I vary from most writers out there. At this point, most writers send their manuscript off to their editor. Not me. At this point, I send my manuscript off to the beta readers. What? Say what? Let me tell you why. Everything I do with the idea that I want to be as efficient as possible. I don't want hurdles in my way. I want to just be able to keep going and going and going and going. When I send a manuscript off to beta readers, I tell them, don't worry about grammar, don't worry about anything like that. Just let me know if the story works, if there are any plot holes, if I've missed anything, if you have a problem with any of the characters, things like that, the big picture. Beta readers read it, and then they send back their feedback to me. And then I have another rule. Usually I have about 5 beta readers that read a story. If one of those beta readers comes back to me and says, I didn't like this, that's an opinion. If 3 of those 5 beta readers come back to me and say, I don't like this, and they're talking about the same thing, that's a problem, not an opinion, and I have to fix it. This is why I vary my process from most writers. When I when I work in that feedback from beta readers, I am effectively changing things. I'm adding to the story. Now, if that book had already gone through the editing process and beta readers gave me feedback to say, you need to fix this. In the process of fixing this, I have made it such that I have to send the book back through for another round of edits. That's not efficient, not in my book. So, I work in the beta reader's feedback, and after I've done that, I read it one more time. I know. Read it one more time, because there are going to be more I's to dot, more T's to cross, more mistakes to fix, and what I want to send to the editor is as close to perfect as I can get. I'm not an editor. Remember that. So, I send it to the publisher, who sends it to the editor, or sometimes I'll just send it directly to the editor, depending on which editor I'm working with. And then we go through about 3 rounds of edits. Back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. When that's done, it gets proofed to catch any kind of mistakes that weren't caught. Because, they still happen. Nobody's perfect. Once I've proofed it that last time, it gets sent to the publisher for formatting and publication. I know. It's a lot. It really is a lot. But when you really think about it, it's not so much. It's just enough. Actually, it's more than enough. But it's the process that I have evolved to is about the most efficient process I have ever used. And it works really well for me. And it has allowed me to create more than I have ever before. And now, that's not to say I'm publishing more, because at one point in my life, I was publishing about 7 books a year, which is way too much. That is so much work. And it's so much work that you really can't do the manuscripts justice. So I had to pull back a while ago. And now I'm publishing 3-4 books a year, which is great. Because, to be perfectly honest, the editing process takes longer than the writing process. And it should, I think. But that's my process. That's not your process. I understand that. And you've probably worked hard to figure out what works for you. And you probably have a process that is fairly functional, maybe even more efficient than mine. Maybe it's better. And the thing is that we're all learning. And like I said, I've worked 20 years on this process. And I would venture to say that I'm going to work 20 more years refining it and making it better, or completely changing it. The important thing is is that I'm always trying to learn how to improve the way I work and the craft as a whole. Because the second you stop trying to improve that, you may as well give up. Really. I mean, we are all always students of the craft. I'm always trying to find better ways to say things or better ways to relay a story, better methods to try anything I can do to get better. I'm open for. And I think that every artist should be that way. And I've always been that way with every medium of art that I use. As an actor, I'm like right now, one of the things I've been doing is that I've been recording monologues. I've been filming monologues from my books, and I told you about this last week. And the monologue that I'm working on right now is from Frankenstein theory, and it's been pretty daunting for me because I'm not used to this kind of character. I'm used to more characters. I'm used to playing weird and odd because I do that really well. I don't play straight characters very well, and I don't mean straight as in sexual proclivity, not proclivities. I don't mean straight as in sexuality. I mean straight as in kind of normal. I don't play normal well. That's what I should have said in the first place. I don't play normal well. So I'm having to approach a fairly normal, well, it's Victor Frankenstein. He's not really completely normal, but from my perspective, he's fairly normal. So I'm having to approach this very differently and try new tactics to really get into this character. And it's been a challenge, but I love a good challenge. And you, as an artist, should always embrace and accept challenges, and don't look at a challenge as a big hurdle to get over. Look at it as a means to improve what you do. And you should always accept every challenge that is thrown at you as an artist, because it is a great way to learn and improve. And hopefully, what I've just told you will, even if you don't blend in bits and pieces of my process, at least what I've said now will make you think about your process, because it's important. So right now, what I would like you to do is just outline your process. Write out what you do, how you do what you do, and make it in a numbered list. Step 1, I do this. Step 2, I do this. Step 3, I do this. And go through it. And hopefully you've found some sort of regularity, some sort of repetition that you can actually write out your process fairly easily. If you can't write out how you do what you do, then you haven't given it enough thought. And you need to really start focusing in on your writing process. Trust me, this is fundamental. Anyway, that's all I got this week. I hope that I have helped you. I hope that I've maybe entertained you a little bit. I don't know, maybe not this time. Maybe I've just given you food for thought. Okay? Anyway, I hope you have a glorious weekend or weekday whenever you've watched this. I don't know. And I want you to know, without a doubt, that you, my friend, yes, you, even you in the back row, are awesome.